Masechet Avodah Zarah Daf Tetvav Amud Aleph 6 lines down. U'b'chol makom en mochrin behema gasa. Mishnah says you can never sell a goy large animals. And the Gemara says, "My time, why? We already proved Nehid L'Rviyah Hashinan Me'aved B'Melacha Hashinan." We say we obviously not worried that he'll sodomize it because we said right before yesterday's daf that he won't ruin his animal by sodomizing it because that may make him make it sterile. So the reason is must be concerned that he might make his animal work on Shabbat. Tomorrow says the Na'avid, what's the problem? Let him do that. Kevin does that. Once he bought it, it's his. Let him do whatever he wants. It's not like it's your animal to be working on Shabbat. The Gemara says no. Gezerah mishum she'ela mishum sechirut. We're worried that if you sell him the animal, you also might lend him the animal or rent the animal to him and he'll use it on Shabbat, which is asur. Okay. There is a different reason. Gizra mishum nisyoni, we're worried about testing problems. Because why? He might test the animal to see if he's able to carry a heavy load. Right? There's a different answer. The guy will come over to a goy to sell him his animal. Very close to Shabbat starting. The buyer will tell the seller, to the Jew, come, let's see if you could carry well. He'll put a bunch of stuff on the animal's back. The animal will hear the voice of its owner telling him to move. The will walk for amot in public, and therefore V'niha that the seller obviously wants to show that the animal is capable of walking, otherwise it won't be chayav. That's considered violating the isur of leading your animal in Shabbat, even through your voice. That's the reason why you can't sell animals to goyim. Gemara says, "Matkif Rav Shisha Bederet Idi" is a question. Uschirot mikanya? What's the difference? You're renting it. Is it the Gemara says 1 second. Who's who cares? What do you mean? The guy acquires the animal by renting it to him. By the time Mishnah say elsewhere, up makom shamrullah astir. Even in the place where Rabbi said you're allowed to leave, lease or rent animals to goyim. Lo lebetiram. We didn't say you're allowed to lease a place to live to the goyim. Because they bring Avodah Zarah into it. Visa the chasirut kayan. You want to tell me that you're worried that leasing it means that the goy is owning it? What's the problem with renting houses to goyim? They let them just consider their own house that they're renting. It belongs to them. So they could do it. You're not chayav for that. The Gemara says, "Shani avot hamira." Worshipping Avodah Zarah is worse. Tiftiv lo tavi to'aiva lotecha. Because it says that you're not allowed to bring a, a abomination to your house, and therefore we were more machmir by Avodah Zarah. Makif l'Rav Yitzhak beredin is Mesharshia. Another question. Leasing doesn't make you acquiring the animal, but how Mishnah says Israel shesachar para kohen. Beautiful question. A Yisrael leased a cow from a kohen. Yachilenna kershina teruma. He can feed it animal food of teruma because it belongs to the kohen. The Kohen shesachar para Israel, but the Kohen leased the cow from Israel. Even though the Kohen is responsible for feeding it, lo yachelena kershina teruma. He can't feed it teruma animal food. If leasing considered ownership, why can't the Kohen feed it? It's his own cow. And let's try to prove from here. You can't. Leasing is not considered acquiring the property. Mer says now that you said it doesn't acquire. It must be that there's a three-pronged reason why it's asur. Firstly, we're worried about leasing. Secondly, because we're worried about borrowing. And thirdly, we're worried about testing the animal clothes Shabbat. Okay. Rab'ada won't allowed to sell a Jew to sell a donkey to a goy through a broker. Right? So this guy is a broker. He was your modern day Craigslist type of guy. I would give him my animal. He's in charge of selling it. So he allowed him to sell. The broker was allowed to sell it to a goy. Why? Imishmitz aren't even worried about the reason of testing. I'm not worried. He doesn't know the broker's voice. And therefore, if he's walking, he's not walking because of my voice, he's walking because of himself. If you're worried about renting or borrowing, That's not a problem either. Kevin Deus, this is not mine. It's not the broker's property. Lomo shiv, lomo get. I will never lend it out and not lease it because they could get injured. Vote additionally, they shouldn't let me again. I don't want it to get injured. Rav Huna Zabin Hayi Paralam Huna one time sold a cow directly to a goy. Marle he says, my time he's like, what are you doing? And Marle he said, no, maybe the guy was buying it for slaughtering, that's why. The Gemara says, who says you can assume that? He says, Tanah Mishnah says, Bechmai says, Lo yimkor adam paraha parashat b'shvi'it. A person cannot sell a cow that can plow, yani a cow that's set aside for plowing, during Shemitah, because we're worried that people will use it for plowing during Shemitah. Says that you are allowed because you can assume that he's using the animal not for plowing, maybe to slaughter. You see from Betila that you can assume, where it says, Marabba, Midami, you can't compare that. Over there, a person is not hayab to make sure that his animal's not plowing on Chag, on Shemitah. Where it says, "Halachah the mitzvah should be to push," but over here, going Shema, you are chayav. So who says Rav Huna is allowed to do it? The Gemara says, the whole heichad adam mitzvah asur, anywhere the person is chayav to asur for his animal. But I said that regarding the field, the mitzvah should we know a person is not allowed to use his field during shemitah. But it says, Mitzvah says, well, in court dam so then near Bishvit, a person cannot sell a plowed field on shemitah. We're worried that if you sell the plowed field, the guy who's buying it, you might plant on it. Because maybe the buyer also won't use it and he'll follow the halacha. Okay. Not keep that. Ashir, if a question. So anytime a person is not chayav, it's mutar to sell it. But we know regarding farming tools, you're not allowed to. There's no isur about resting your farming tools in shemitah. That just happens because you don't use them. Utanam Mishnah says, the following things a person cannot sell during shemitah. The plow and all its accessories. The yoke, the shovels, the different type of shovels. All these things show you that you cannot sell it, even though it's just an accessory or a tool for Shemitah. So what's going on? How do you field and stuff? The Gemara says, different reason. Anytime we're able to assume that it could be used for a different purpose, we make that thing. Like the animal might be slaughtered. This might be that. The field might be used, not be used. Even if you are commanded on that, like his field. However, in the case where you can't really make a good excuse, we can't we can't allow him to sell the Africa there's no issue, right? So in the case of the farming tool, yeah, you're buying a plow. I'm not saying we can't figure out another reason why you're doing it. It must be you're using it to plow the field, and therefore, even though there's no isur on the plow, we still say you can't sell it. One time Rabban saw a donkey. To a Jew who was known to sell to a goy. My time he's like, why'd you do this? My lady said, I'm not lady sells me. I sold to a joy. I sold to a Jew, which is allowed. I didn't do anything wrong. And my lady, but you know that this guy might sell to a goy. He's like, wait, he can only sell to a goy? The Israeli comes in, he won't sell to a Jew? He's like, what's the problem? Maybe he'll sell to a Jew. In a place where they used to sell small animals to Kutim. Kutim were fake Jews from the king of Shalman said. So we're not a sell them. Shalom Karv, there's no man how to sell it, and Machrin don't sell it. My time, why can't you sell it? Maybe you might think they're suspected of sodomizing the animals. They're not suspected of that, but Tanah says, even though you're not allowed to put animals in the stables of a goy, which means you can't even put male animals with male animals, with male goyim, female animals with female goyim. Definitely not male and female, male and female. Next part, you also can't leave your animal to their shepherd. You can't leave them yahud one-on-one with them. You can't leave your child with them. To teach him knowledge or to teach him a skill because we're worried that he might either kill him or teach him something inappropriate. So, but you can trust the stables and the inns and and there's the trust of kutim. Even males of animals with female kutim and female animals with male kutim. The answer is one, definitely it's mutar. The Rechim says male, female, female. Muslim b'mal rishon, you can trust their shepherds. You can leave them privately with your animals. Muslim you can also give your child to them. To teach them knowledge or skill. So what do we say? Amalo Hashidi, if he's from here, that the Kutim are not suspected of sodomizing animals. So why can't one opinion hold that you can't sell your large animal to a Kuti? The Gemara says, all time, another question. In Mochrin Lahem Lo Zayad, look you can't sell them weapons or accessory to weapons, like the sheath. Okay. Very much. You can't sharpen the weapons for them. You can't sell them the things to tie people's feet to tie people's necks, like the collars. Not shackles or iron chains. Whether for a goy or a Jew, you can't do that. My time, why? For that I might kill someone. You're not worried about that. You said you could have yichud with them. So we see that you're not worried about getting killed. Ella must be mishum da'ati lezabun and you might be considered. They might sell it to a goy who might hurt a Jew. So again, we see you can't sell things to people who might sell to goys. So how come Rabbah sold to this random guy who might sell it to a goy? Where I said that maybe you might say Kuti might not do teshuvah. He's Avi teshuvah, where a Jew might do teshuvah, and therefore the Jew won't sell it after you see it. So he said, "Oh, you sold it to a Jew who might not sell it. Maybe he'll do teshuvah and he won't sell it to a goy." I'm not about to just like Hachamim say. Same way you can't sell it to a goy. You can't sell it to a Jew who sells it to goyim. So we see that you can't sell it to the Jew at all. Where it says, Rahit Batre Tlata Paraserabat ran after the man 3 parsaot, which is like almost 8 miles. Vikdamri Parsa Hanas, some people say it was a parsa, only like a third of that. It's like 2 point something miles, but it was in sand, which is hard to run. Okay, he couldn't chase him. He realized the mistake, he tried to catch up. Okay. Amar Dima Baraba listen to Israel. Same way you can't sell weapons to a goy, you can't sell weapons to a Jewish robber. What's the case? The robber's word. If the robber is allegedly kills, Pshita, of course. I knew of it's the same reason why you can't sell to a goy, because he kills. He didn't look at but if he's not a killer, am I law, why not? Gemara says that look at he didn't kill yet. A guy who sneaks. Because if he's a guy who sneaks, and it's a famous concept of Enadam Mamid al Halakha Enadam Mamid al Nahasab, a person who won't just stand idly by and get robbed. So if he gets caught in the act, he might come to kill. Okay, number 9. Animal Hen Trisin, you can't sell shields to goyim. Yeshmi Mochin Trisin, something you can. My time why either Mishum de Magmalay word that it's because you're protecting them. Yeah, I feel like if that's the case, you're worried that we can't protect them or help the goyim live, that you can't even sell them food. So what's the reason? Eat ifshar. Regarding wheat and barley, you can't sell them because you can't not sell them because that will cause hatred. Hachanami, if that's the case, these also you have to sell. Where says, okay, Ikadami might be because the reason why you can't sell shields, because when they don't have weapons anymore, when the weapons are destroyed while they're fighting, they'll kill with their shields. Since they can sell shields, because they hold that when the weapons are destroyed, they'll run away, and therefore shields won't help them kill. That you're allowed to sell. You can't sell thick pieces of iron to goy. Why? Because they might use it to make weapons. Gemara says, that's the case, you can't sell them any tools that have metal in it. The Gemara said, like a drill or whatever it is. Hindu is referring to a certain type of Indian iron, which is used specifically for weapons. How we nowadays sell that type of iron to goyim? Why is it allowed? It's for the iron. We sell iron only to the Persians who help us. All right, 360. We have the Persians who are now defending us. Maybe after the ceasefire we can. Let's see. Okay, next Mishnah said. Next Mishnah said, you can't sell even the big animals while they're young, like when they're calves. However, Rabbi says in Mutar. Tanya, if they're injured, Tanya Retta says Rabbi Matir B'Shavur. Rabbi says you're allowed to sell injured big animals because it can't be healed and live. Meaning, you won't be. He won't be able to use it for war. I mean, they said to him, they could technically have it, use it to be with another animal, and they could have a regular cow or horse after they could use to herd Jews. The Gemara says, it might come to keep it. He says, right, so actually, the word also that if they have that long and they have a baby, people might think that you sold them a healthy animal also. So that's the problem, right? If he says no problem. If it gives birth, no problem. He believes. Alma holds that an injured female animal will not be having children, and therefore you're allowed to sell that because there's no problem. Amen. Amen.